Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Biking Roots to the channel, to Texas. Hope you guys are doing well. Just wanted to say quickly, thank you guys so much for those that have supported us recently. I haven't shared too much on the channel, but times are pretty tough right now in the bike industry, so I do appreciate your support as we try to make it through this difficult time. Today, though, I wanted to talk about another new bike or new model. I talked about one of the trims in a previous video, but this one is going to cover one of the other models. All right, and the bike we're talking about today is the new Marin Bobcat Trail 4 that has been updated for 2025. And it has some new paint jobs, some new features on it compared to the old version. So we're going to get into the different specs and features and what's new, what's improved. So I've mentioned this in the other video, but if you haven't seen the Bobcat 3 video, the Bobcat has always been kind of a popular beginner hardtail bike for Marin and for us since we carried them when we first opened the shop 5 years ago. It's been a great, capable hardtail bike. So if you're new to mountain biking, or maybe you want to get a friend or maybe a family member into mountain biking and they don't want to spend a ton of money, but they want to get a good, reliable first mountain bike that actually fits them, then the Marin Bobcat is a great option. All right, so to give you a quick rundown on the lineup for the Marin Bobcat, you have 3 different trims starting at $699 as of August 2024. That comes in 2 colors. You have the Bobcat 4, also 2 colors, which is this one. This is the blue, and then it comes in that purple. And then you have the Bobcat 5, so $699, $799 for this one, and then $999 for the Bobcat 5. So this is the old Bobcat Trail 4, which we still have a couple of them left. It came in also 2 colors, and there are some changes from this one to the new one that we will talk about. So if you're kind of on the fence, if you find this one obviously for a great price, then maybe worth just getting it, but you should know some of the differences for the new model. Mainly the frame and then some component changes. But first, let's talk about the frame, which has been redesigned for 2025, or the new gen of Bobcat. It is an aluminum frame, as all Bobcats. Nice paint job. It looks good in the blue with a nice gloss. Bobcat Trail has the trim down there, the 4. You have the Marin Bear. And then back in the back, you have Made for Fun with the little bear 86. Whenever Marin was founded, 1986, which is kind of cool. On the size medium, you have 2 water bottle cage mounts. Don't have it on the medium anymore, which is good. For the back, you do have some mounts now. That is new for the new model, where you can mount a kickstand if that interests you. IS mount for the brake caliper, that is not changed for the new one. So to talk about sizing, it's available in size small all the way up to XL. The website for some reason says extra small. I've never seen an extra small Bobcat, so just keep that in mind, at least in the US. Maybe other markets, they do list it on the website, so just ignore that. Small through extra large, which gives you a nice range to get you into the right size bike when you're getting into mountain biking, is to make sure you get a bike that fits you. 27.5 wheels on the small, and then the medium, you get that option, but you also get a medium 29-inch option, which is what this one is. In the large and the XL, 29 only. So let's talk about the frame and what's been changed. In summary, the frame's a little bit longer now. It's a little bit slacker, which means it's a little bit more aggressive here, which that helps when you're going downhill to feel a little bit more confident as you bomb down the mountain on your new Bobcat. The seat tube has stayed the same, so still a good climber. Chain stays are a little bit shorter now, which will give it a nice sporty feel when you're whipping around the turns. The standover height, which is nice, has been lowered as well, so easier to get on and off the bike, which is good if you have to bail off the side of the trail if you come up too steep of a hill. So this head angle now is about 1 degree slacker than the previous generation. And then you also get an additional hole here for free. They do not charge you extra to give you an extra hole. I'm just kidding. So that's for routing a brake on the other side if you're in the UK or other markets that have a different brake option. So that's the frame on the Bobcat 4. You have a straight steer tube, which is fine because that makes it easier to get an upgraded fork, which we'll talk about later if you choose so down the road. So no tapered. All right, let's start out with the fork, which this one is somewhat new for 2025. You still have a Suntour XCM 32. This one has bigger diameter, 32 mil stanchion instead of the 30. On the website, it says it's an upgrade from the 3. That's not correct. This is the same fork as the 3, but you get 120 millimeters of travel. This is a coil sprung fork. It does have a preload adjustment. I've mentioned this before. It doesn't do much. You do have a lockout if you want to be able to stiffen it up for a steep climb or on the road. No other adjustments on this type of fork, but you could upgrade it to an air fork pretty easily. It is a quick release 100 millimeter travel, so the RockShox Judy or the Recon or even a Manitou Marcor, which we do 120 millimeter conversion if you have a 29er, because the other 29ers are only 100, so we do a conversion to get out to 120. You can contact us about that if you're interested in an upgrade. I'm just giving you an option. You don't have to upgrade if you're just getting in and you're stretching your budget. This will be fine for most people, especially if you haven't really been on a mountain bike before. It does the job and smooths out the rough stuff for you when you're out on the trails. So the big change from the Bobcat 4 to the 3, you may be wondering what the differences are. A big difference is going to be in this drivetrain. The crankset's going to be the same. This is a Samox, 170 millimeter long, 32 tooth, narrow wide. This is welded on. You do have a square tapered still on this one. So Bobcat 3 and 4, you still have a square tapered bottom bracket. You do not have an external cup like you do on the Bobcat 5. At this price point, it's fine. I would have liked to have seen, obviously, external bottom bracket and a nicer crankset. All right, and in the back, this is the upgrade, you could call it, I guess, over the Bobcat 3. This is a 10-speed drivetrain instead of the 9. It's an 1148 tooth, a bigger ring for climbing. This is called the Shimano Cues, which came out, I think, in the fall of last year, I believe. So they call it the Link Glide system, which they say improves shifting over HG or Hyperglide, the old system. They say it lasts a lot longer, a little bit heavier, but it lasts a lot longer. So it'll be interesting to see how long it lasts. But your Cues derailleur does have a clutch, so it keeps it nice and stiff when you're bouncing down the trail. How it compares to like a Dior, I'm not sure. This is a little bit less expensive, but actually not that less expensive. So I don't know the exact differences between Cues and like the Dior setup that you see on like an 11 or 12 speed setup. As far as a chain, they do use a KMC chain and your Samox chain ring. I will say this about Shimano, their drivetrain systems, they tend to work better when it's all Shimano. So Shimano cassette, derailleur, Shimano chain, and also the chain ring. I've had issues over the years, and this one is kind of no exception. I'll show a video in just a second. These Samox narrow wide rings with a KMC chain, sometimes you just don't get that nice crisp feeling in the drivetrain. So yeah, it creates quite a bit of noise. A lot of drivetrains do, especially when you're doing that hard angle of the biggest cog. It's just a really sharp angle, but this one was exceptionally noisy compared to the Bobcat 3, which I noticed, which I thought was kind of odd, but it is kind of noisy. So I don't know if the chain line's off, if it's just a compatibility issue with this chain ring and chain, I don't know. But it is something that I did notice. As far as your shifter goes, you have, of course, your Shimano Cues. You have a trigger shifter, so you can advance the gears by pulling. You can also push with your thumb. That will advance it as well to make it go faster or make it harder to pedal. And you hit that one to make it easier to pedal if you're climbing up a hill. I will mention, too, on the Bobcat 4, not the 3, but on the 4, you get these Marin pedals, which they're still plastic and they're not great, but they are better than the other ones that come on the 3, slightly better, I will say. So it is one difference on the 4. All right, seat post 30.9. So if you do add a dropper, keep that in mind. Also, you do have a bend here, so on the medium at least, you do have to measure accordingly because you can't slam it all the way down here. The dropper routing is right here, so you don't have a very big jog, but you just have to keep that bend in mind. As far as the saddle, no Marin branded here. Entity is what you get. I've seen these show up periodically over the years, so I don't know why. Sometimes they're Marin branded, sometimes they're Entity. Feels a little bit more padded than the other one, but I don't know if that's like on all Bobcat 4s or just this one. For the cockpit, same as last year, you have a 780 millimeter with like a 15-degree rise, so very small rise, 40 millimeter Marin stem, 31.8 clamp. Your top cap Marin made for fun to remind you to have fun. For your grips, you just have normal Marin grips, not lock-on, same as the Bobcat 3. For your brakes, also same as the Bobcat 3, your Tektro M280s. These are changed from the previous generation. I don't know if they are an improvement or just the new model. Hopefully they're better. Here's the calipers. You have a 180 millimeter 6-bolt rotor up front. It is different for this new model, so hopefully it bites better than the previous generation. And in the back, you have a 160 millimeter 6-bolt rotor. All right, let's talk about the wheels and tires. That is one of the changes as well for the 4. On the 4, you do get a name brand. So instead of Deli tire on the 3, you get a WTB Trail Boss. 29 by 2.25 on this one. So if you want to be a boss of the trail, you could get these tires. A little bit nicer tread pattern. I would say a little bit grippier than the 3. Not a huge deal, but it is nice to see at least a name brand tire on the 4. Hubs and wheel sets the same. You have 135 millimeter quick release Marin branded hub. In the front, the same 9 millimeters by 100 quick release Marin branded hub. And you have the same Trail Boss 2.25 tire up front. All right, guys. Well, that's a quick overview of the new Marin Bobcat Trail 4. What do you guys think? So is the 4 a worthy upgrade over the 3? Or should you go up to the 5? For me, at least, unless it's like a color thing, I don't know. I might save the $100 to just do the 3, because a 9-speed versus 10, not a huge deal for me. Tires, not a huge deal, because I may change them anyway. So unless it's a color thing, I don't know that the Cues system is worth $100 extra, but that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments if you like the Bobcat 4 or if it's a worthy upgrade. But in the end, for $7.99, you're getting a pretty nice, capable 10-speed hardtail that you could upgrade some things if you get more into it. Regardless of whether it's the 3 or the 4 or the 5, you're gonna have a lot of fun on the Bobcat and get you into the sport of mountain biking. And as you progress, you can upgrade it or potentially go to a full suspension later, but it's a great entry level into the sport of mountain biking. All right, guys, well, that's gonna wrap up today's video on the new Marin Bobcat Trail 4. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions, how it compares to other bikes, let me know in the comments. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you found this useful. If you did, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't before. Maybe you've seen some of these videos. It would help us out a lot as we try to grow this a little bit. Thanks for watching. Have fun on the trails. Take care. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.